So what happened is I was biking home and along the railway reserve bike track, um, came around and obviously had a seizure, and I'd put my I'd chained my bike up, um, but I didn't have my helmet, didn't have my backpack, and I was like really confused and like, well, okay, so got home and put on Facebook, hey, I came around from a seizure, my bag's missing. And obviously social media went, bah, what's going on? And then this woman messaged me and she said, I think I've got your bag. And apparently her sons, who were 12 and 13 at the time, they'd come home from school and she'd said to them, oh, this lady's lost her bag. Did you say anything? Because that was the way they went home. And the younger one burst into tears. And she's like, okay, well, that looks guilty. And so apparently they'd been walking along, seen me being a spaz, and the elder one dared the younger one to grab the bag. And so they did, and they ran. And as shitty as that is, they're kids whose brains aren't wired, and they saw someone doing a funky chicken and freaked out. And kids are dicks. And so once they'd nicked the bag, they were then kind of locked in. They couldn't do anything, so they just ran, hid the bag, and yeah. So when she contacted me, she said, you know, I can bring it to you or whatever. But I said no. I went round and met them, and they were like, they obviously felt like shit, and she was mortified. Gave me the bag back, and I got them to do a first aid course, rather than like punishment for that.
Rather than
So
reparations.
yeah, yeah. So they did the course, and then they invited me around, cooked me dinner to show me the certificates because I told them I
Mm.
had put a police report in. So if they didn't do the course, I'd report them. So so yeah, and they're good kids, and so to me, it's kind of feel good that their kids' brains did a fucked up thing, and then they had a little lesson from it. And I'm like, I always, as cheesy as it sounds, like there's always a silver lining in there somewhere, and it might not be a silver lining for me, but every time I have a seizure that's a shitty situation, I beat myself up for it. It's like, okay, what is the good point from it? And from that seizure, it was the fact that these two lads had a bit of a life lesson. I was
Mm.
like, yeah. So I mean, to me, that's yeah, it's a feel good story rather than a shit story.